Hello, I'm the Nostalgia Critic. I remember it so you don't have to. Well, it's Christmas, and I'm still working from home. Yep, it's been more than a while since a tornado hit our studio, and our less than dependable fix-it people fixed us good. Well, I'm sick of it. I'm sick of this whole year. Just everything seems to keep going wrong. I mean, just for once, I want something to go right. Roof damage, sicknesses, explosions, shit in my car. I don't need much. I just need someone to come to my door and say, everything's gonna be all right.
Hey, you the Nostalgia Critic?
Yeah?
I'm really glad to hear that. I've got something really special for you.
You do?
Absolutely.
What's this?
A very important piece of paper.
Looks like there's a lot here. Can you just sum it up in a very inspiring way?
Well, we're going to be doing construction on your road today.
What? That's gonna make a ton of noise!
Don't worry about it. We'll be out of here in like 3 years.
But the road is fine. What's the reason?
It's Illinois. We don't need a reason. Bye.
Louder. Louder. I think I'll review Gremlins this Christmas. Another film people like to ask, is that really a Christmas flick? Well, I literally can't hear the song Christmas Baby Please Come Home without thinking of the film's title plastered over a snowy town, so I say that counts. There's a ton of references to the holidays, imagery's all over the place, and the most gentle way to tell your kids there's no Santa Claus. It all checks out. The surprise hit from director Joe Dante and writer Chris Columbus shocked many with how successful it was, and started a trend of obvious knockoffs for several years to come. None were more surprised, though, with how well it did than the people who made it. Chris Columbus originally wrote a hard R film with little to no optimism, and Joe Dante, with producer Steven Spielberg, added a lot more youthful wonder to the script. Most people thought the clash of styles would sink the film, but 40 years later, people still love coming back to it. It got people's attention with a clever advertising campaign that kept what the Gremlins looked like a secret.
Gremlins. They'll be expecting you.
Not knowing what kind of film they were gonna get, audiences loved the surprise of 1 minute evil monsters getting blown up in microwaves, and the next singing Hi-Ho from Snow White. It's a one-of-a-kind flick that's still being talked about, and we're gonna talk about it this Christmas Day. Because with everything going on, it just feels like the proper Christmas flick. Louder! Louder! This is Gremlins. The film opens basically as 80s as it can, with Eddie Valiant and Short Round walking around Chinatown.
Let me introduce myself. Peltzer's the name, Rand Peltzer.
You may think this is a film noir, but it's a horror, romance, Christmas puppet thing. I don't get it either, but it's gonna make a bump.
Well, go ahead, mister. Look around.
This is Randall Peltzer, played by Hoyt Axton, who's looking to pawn off his shitty inventions.
The bathroom buddy. You got yourself your toothbrush. You got yourself a toothpick.
Plus, it's half the size of our current cell phones.
You forgot to brush your teeth. You got yourself a bad case of dragon breath.
Did we mention this was Chinatown? Part of the charm is everyone is playing it straight. Goofy stuff happens with this guy's inventions, but he always acts like he can still make the sale, which makes it even funnier.
That's no problem. That's absolutely no problem. Cleans up easily.
Go away.
The store owner, played by K.A. Luke, says he's not interested, but Peltzer discovers a pet he thinks would be a perfect gift for his son.
I'll give you $100 for him.
No,
Look, I've got to have him. I'll give you $200.
I'm sorry.
This creature could destroy entire cities! 300 at least! With that said, this is basically a cuddly nuclear bomb. Maybe don't leave him in such an easily stealable spot.
Look, mister. There's 3 rules you've got to follow. Keep him out of the light. He hates bright light.
This makes it so you don't see the puppeteers. The other 2 ADR rules are don't get him wet and don't feed him after midnight. I had to make a bunch of jokes about that, but Gremlins 2 beat me to it.
What if they're eating in an airplane and they cross a time zone? I mean, it's always midnight somewhere.
Tarantino's right, that movie is its own Mad Magazine parody. The credits roll as we cut to Kingston Falls, as we're introduced to Billy, played by Zach Galligan.
You're going with rockin' Ricky Rialto, the voice of Kingston Falls, USA!
The forecast calls for 2 more inches of obvious fake snow, and while in town, check out the Spielberg In-Joke Film Festival.
Hey, Dr. Moreau.
Morning, Billy.
Safe the Hill Valley Clock Tower? It is the same set, we even have a previous resident. Huh, must be a Swedish name. We're also introduced to his co-worker Kate, played by Phoebe Cates.
You sign this petition.
What's it for?
It's to stop me from wearing the nightgowns I wore when I was 8. I have a problem. We see Mrs. Deagle, played by Polly Holliday. which sounds like a lyric from Disney's Robin Hood. Who's so nasty she makes people go, oh!
Good morning, Mrs. Deagle.
What's good about it?
Oh,
My entire family burned to death right in front of me, but that was worse! She's so mean she doesn't give starving families a break and wants to kill Billy's pet for knocking over her decorations.
The bank and I have the same purpose in life, to make money. I want your dog.
She really is a mixed drink of Mr. Potter and Miss Gulch, isn't she?
The old bat never looked better. It's great.
Thanks.
Well, that means a lot coming from you, Mr. Freeling. Actually, it's legendary animator Chuck Jones. I guess he knows something about green monsters at Christmas. And while I know a lot of people are aware that, I'm not sure how many people pick up he's watching one of his own cartoons, shaking his head in disappointment.
What can I say in the face of such humiliating evidence?
it isn't Captain Clip-On.
He sits down with the actor who probably got hosed the most in terms of screen time, Judge Reinhold. In the original version, he had a ton of scenes overly obsessing over his job, my favorite being both a funny and kind of uncomfortable scene where he locks himself in the vault escaping the Gremlins and doesn't want to be freed.
Where are the keys to the vault?
You think you can come waltzing in here at any time of the day or night without an appointment? You've got to make an appointment with me now.
They weren't essential to the plot, though, so he gets a "you'll never amount to anything" scene and a "you putz."
You putz.
That calls for a credit above Dick Miller. Peltzer returns home with Billy's gift. Can't breathe! A little mogwai named Gizmo, played by Howie Mandel doing Skeeter's voice.
No. Some things I forgot to tell you guys, and they're really important.
Don't feed him after breakfast. He loves water. Get him plenty of sun. I think that's it. They certainly cuten Gizmo up in the sequel to a point where they use that image in this film's advertising. And while I do prefer that design a little more, he does look closer to an actual animal in this one, with his fur and ears looking more rugged. It does make him a touch more believable.
You know, you should just buy orange juice and cartons. It's a lot easier.
Billy's friend Pete drops by, played by Corey Feldman. Yeah, something about this town encourages people to hang with boys half their age. And he accidentally spills water on Gizmo, causing him to multiply.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5 new ones.
It's incredible.
Oh, he is neat.
Comics, the original, so it's not on TikTok. His father, however, is pretty amazed.
I'll bet every kid in America would like to have one of these.
In about 10 years or so, when they figure out too late they can sell toys on this, it might be a hit. They apparently don't play nice with other pets, though.
Barney, who did this to you? Hold on, I'll get you down.
See what I mean? This is the kind of mean-spirited Christmas movie I need this year. It looks like Mike Flanagan directed Santa Paws. I've just gotten used to nothing good happening this year. That better not be a contrarian call of good news. Hello?
Critic, it's the devil.
Oh, do I wish you a Merry Christmas?
Do I wish you a happy 9/11?
See your point.
I'm calling to let you know that we're expanding our operations.
Oh, that's great. You know, I keep looking around saying, hell really is on Earth.
So much so that we're expanding it to your basement.
What?
Get ready for endless screams and elevator music by Randy Newman.
But why me?
You think you don't deserve it?
You know, this isn't the upbeat call I was waiting for.
Good.
It's Randy. The following day, Billy takes a mogwai to the most qualified professional he can think of, an elementary school science teacher. The hell is he gonna discover? His whole job is teaching kids photosynthesis isn't an STD.
I keep one of these here. Run some tests on them.
He keeps one of the mogwais to study, and Billy runs in the cage, finishing up her bartending job.
I don't think it's such a good idea that you drive. Why don't you walk home?
You know, Katie, I think maybe I'll walk home.
But you can't have a B movie or a Joe Dante movie without me.
Did you ever get depressed on Christmas?
I don't celebrate Christmas.
What, are you Hindu or something?
No, I just don't like to.
It reminds me of the second job I had to take to pay for our new chimney. He asks her out on a date and she agrees, but later that night, the mogwais seem obsessed with eating despite it apparently not being midnight yet. Even the one at the teacher's lab has a certain craving at a certain time.
That's it, good buddy. Call it a night.
Yeah, be cautious. Take the chips. Leave the sandwich you literally just took a bite of, though. Doofenshmirtz is a more reliable scientist. The next morning, all of them except Gizmo, who didn't eat anything, transform into cocoons. Again, if I went to this movie not knowing what these things looked like, this would hype me up as hell. Billy's mother, Lynn, played by Frances Lee McCain, asks if he fed them after midnight.
No, wait a minute.
Aw, did I sleep chew through electrical cords again? Well, his father's at a convention of 1,000,000 Easter eggs. The time machine disappearing is my personal favorite. The cocoons start hatching, including the one at the teacher's lab.
When I got you a candy bar. Thought you might be hungry.
This would be a great Snickers ad.
You're not you when you're hungry. Snickers, get some nuts.
Billy finds the teacher dead and the creature eating glass. No, that's the wrong type of Muppet. But at home, Lim finds they hatched as well and gets a good look at these gremlins. Again, I prefer the design of them a little bit more in the sequel. They have a little bit more personality to them. But I have to remind myself, for the contrasting of tones this film is constantly pulling off, it probably does make sense to make these things look more evil and unpleasant. I also love the detail of the gremlins' handprints. That's something you probably wouldn't make out in most other versions, but on Blu-ray, it's a nice detail. Oh, also, the mother's pretty badass in this scene. She acts like she's been waiting for gremlins to attack her house. And as I mentioned before, the famous microwave scene. God, does that still leave an impact? La 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 la. No, Billy got a new gremlin ornament. Wait a minute! Billy saves her, but discovers there's one left. Their leader, named Stripe. And he has a cold, that's very important. Billy chases him down to a gym where he jumps in the swimming pool. This is one of my favorite oh shit moments. Because you know things are about to get a whole lot worse and there's nothing you can do about it. Everything's about to go to absolute insanity. Again, you can see why I sympathize with this film this year. Louder. Louder. What? Rob, what are you doing here?
Look, I don't usually do this, but I hear you've been going through a difficult time.
Well, yeah.
Apparently you've been miserable and even downright hopeless.
Yeah.
And it's at times like this when you think nobody's there for you. You could just disappear and not even leave an impact.
Yeah? Who says this isn't a Christmas movie? Look, it became a Rankin Bass production. The gremlins start going through the neighborhood, wreaking havoc.
Shirley, will you quit messing with the TV?
Oh, honey, you should put on a Roger Corman movie, preferably one we're in. Ah! The gremlins drive the snowplow, and despite this being a pretty impressive bit of destruction, these characters proved to be so likable, they wrote in later in a news report that they survived, despite the scene clearly indicating they got killed off.
We talked to one Mr. Murray Futterman at Mercy Hospital. Duke's come out of his coma.
Doc says Duke's gonna be A-OK.
They even go after Mrs. Deagle, who was about to throw water on innocent carolers. I feel like in another universe she'd fall into a vat of chemicals and become a supervillain. Yeah, we'll just have to settle for her ability to fly. They seem to like Kate, though, because, well, she introduced them to alcohol, like any good bartender should. And this causes them to act even crazier than before. Still better than Blackout Wednesday. Okay, there's nothing there, but wouldn't it be hilarious if it was the one gremlin who had a dick? We hope you're enjoying this early preview of Gremlins 2. Again, imagine going to this movie, you don't know what the monsters look like, it seems like it's gonna take itself seriously, and then you get scenes like this. Some days you just can't gremlin. Billy bursts in, though, to save her.
You alright?
Help me! They don't tip! They make their way to the bank where, as almost everybody has pointed out, right the hell out of nowhere, Kate starts talking about her tragic backstory about her father gone missing around Christmas.
Now I have another reason to hate Christmas. It was Christmas Eve. I was 9 years old.
Even Billy's like, hello, can you figure out how we got to this moment?
A couple hours went by. Dad wasn't home. So the police began a search.
The series itself would mock this in the sequel, where out of nowhere she starts talking about a horrible experience on Lincoln's birthday.
This man with this
Honey,
beard and a hat looked just like Abe Lincoln.
Honey, I really don't think
Except
we've
for
got
the
time for
raincoat.
this now, you know?
Galligan confessed he actually started to crack up there before he got off camera.
I went to try to light up the fire, and that's when I noticed the smell.
With that said, though, the story is great. When you hear it as a kid, it's horrifying, but as an adult, it's kind of hilarious.
They pulled out my father. He was dressed in a Santa Claus suit. He slipped and broke his neck. Died instantly.
It's a great scene to watch with people because they don't know if it's appropriate to laugh or not. But because the tones keep going back and forth so much, I feel like this is definitely intentional.
And that's how I found out there was no Santa Claus.
Any moment that has that reaction is not meant to be taken seriously. Fear not, though, the Gremlins all gather at a movie theater to watch Snow White. They'll ground the story back in reality. This isn't even like that amazingly funny, but it's just so odd and specific, it's pretty hard not to be enjoyably memorable. God, it's like being trapped in a theater with Wicked fans.
We're watching Snow White. And they love it.
You just know Warner Brothers is like, we had to do Snow White, didn't we? We couldn't make it a Bugs Bunny cartoon. Hell, we had one of the Bugs Bunny guys right there. Yeah, we'll make up for it with an awkward opening in the next one. Also, it comes full circle. I'm pretty sure Disney's putting Gremlins in Snow White now. I guess when you think about it, what saves the day is blowing up a movie theater showing a Disney film that appeals to little monsters. That feels like a Warner Brothers move.
Billy.
Oh, Stripe.
But one Gremlin is still left in the department store, so they go in to try and get him. Thanks, Kate. Why don't you just turn on the sprinklers while you're at it? Jesus, how big is this department store? It looks like the size of a Walgreens. Hell, they're promoting candy in the front window, but it's big enough to sell chainsaws? They have a big fight until Stripe gets to the fountain. Billy tries to stop him despite his hand clearly getting wet. But Gizmo saves the day by pulling the blinds down and killing him with sunlight. Originally, Billy was gonna pull down the blinds and save the day, but I don't know, I like Gizmo having something to do. They did beat him up quite a bit. It's nice seeing him get revenge. This melting effect is also pretty damn impressive. Okay, it's got a few kinks, but I still think we can sell them. Later that night, though, the proper owner returns to retrieve what was stolen from him.
Conflicting eyewitness reports concerning little green men.
You teach him to watch television.
He wasn't even fazed that the whole town was taken over by monsters. That's like saying Godzilla destroyed the entire city, and even worse, he's smoking.
He has something to say to you.
They say their farewells, as obviously Gizmo has to go back.
I shit on your bed.
Powerful words. He walks into a Thomas Kincaid painting and the credits roll. Yeah, see why I went with this movie? See why this is the one I picked for this Christmas? I mean, by God, how can this year get any worse? Insert doorbell or phone ring here. Phone ring, nice choice. What?
Hello, this is Mandy.
Who the hell is Mandy?
Oh, I'm a fan.
Oh.
I'm sorry, I know it's inappropriate to call you, but what I have to say can't be summed up in an email.
Look, this really isn't something you should be doing.
Your videos have meant a lot to me.
Okay, I'd be lying if I said I couldn't use a bit of an ego boost right now.
I've been watching you for years, and your reviews have really gotten me through a lot.
Yeah?
When I was younger, I was bullied a lot for being different, and your videos gave me something to escape to, something to look forward to.
Well, thank you. That does actually mean a lot to me.
You know what my favorite review is? The Wizard.
Oh, wow, you have been watching for a long time.
I know it seems like such a little thing, but your videos, as silly as they are, give me something to rely on when everything else in my life is uncertain.
Well, I'll be honest, that might be exactly what I needed to hear. Thanks, Mandy. That really went a long way.
Thank you, angry video game nerd.
I'm a nostalgia critic.
Sorry, wrong number.
Bridges to yeet oneself off of. Oh, there's 3. All right, let's go. Hello.
Santa Christ here. Can you meet up for a little Christmas commingle?
Is it worth it?
I think so. What are you doing now?
I was on my way to do some plummeting.
Oh, well, can you meet up before you do that?
Surprise!
It certainly was.
Wait, Critic! What do you think of your new studio?
New studio? Wait, why is everybody here? I mean, I know why Bill is here. Everybody knows his backstory.
Mm-hmm.
But why everybody else?
Well, I was busy delivering Sega Genesis to all the good boys and girls of the world when I found these two rapscallions just sleeping here.
So he asked us if we could lend you this place as a studio.
And we, of course, said yes. No, that's not how this works. There has to be something else. There's really nothing bad about this? Well, for now.
I'm sure something will happen at some point in the future, but for now, you can just enjoy it.
Sorry, Critic. Sometimes good things just happen.
Wow. Well, you know, maybe this is why we like Christmas movies like Gremlins.
Oh, for crying out, always tying it to the review.
Sometimes when we watch crazy, unpleasant media, it can help us get out the stress of our own lives, and the holidays can be stressful. I think it's good we got these sick, twisted, insane comedies around this time of year, because they visualize the sick, twisted, insane thoughts we sometimes have around this time of year. You can have Christmas movies that reflect the more joyful side of things, but there are times you need those mean-spirited ones that know how to turn microwave monsters, launching old ladies, and dead chimney dads into something fun. Depending on what mood you're in, this can be the Christmas movie that perfectly hits the spot. And you know what? To return the favor, why don't we let Chester and Doe live here too?
What a splendid idea! Mm-hmm.
We already live here. Nobody should be on the streets during Christmas.
We pay rent.
A beautiful gesture.
We each got jobs. This is gonna be the best Christmas we've had in a long time.
We have the paperwork drawn up for what you owe us.
Merry Christmas!
Merry Christmas!
And the moral of the story is, no matter how bad things are, remember, things can always get worse. No, wait, strike that. They will get worse. But after that, they'll get even worse. But after that, like after all hope is gone, they'll get even worse. But statistically, at some point, something good has to happen, because that's just math. And when it does, you'll appreciate it all the more, even longer. Everybody say Happy Holidays! Happy Holidays!
A tornado warning has been issued in
Yeah.
the area of...
Good morning, Mrs. Deagle.
What's good about it?
Oh,